Hey everyone. Sometimes the most powerful tools are the ones you already have, just hiding in plain sight. Today, we're going to talk about a storage superpower that's probably already sitting inside your Windows server, just waiting for you to flip the switch. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, let's start with a classic IT headache. Imagine your dev team is building some killer new app, but it absolutely needs a high-end storage area network, a SAN, to run. The only problem, you don't exactly have a $100,000 SAN just collecting dust in the corner for testing. It's a huge, expensive roadblock, right?
Or how about this one? You're managing a computer lab, maybe a call center, and you've got to push a custom operating system out to hundreds of PCs. Ugh, just the thought of running around and imaging every single machine one by one is, well, it's a total nightmare.
Well, what if I told you that the answer to both of these giant problems doesn't involve begging for a bigger budget? The tool you need is already there, baked right into Windows Server as a standard role.
It's called the ISCI Target Server. I know it sounds super technical, but the idea is actually pretty simple. This role takes the regular old hard drive space on your server and makes it available over the network. But, and this is the important part, it's not a file share, it's not for dropping Word docs into, it's block storage. We're talking about the raw, fundamental language of a hard drive.
And here's where the magic happens. To any other computer on the network that connects to it, this storage looks and feels exactly like a local hard drive. Seriously, you can format it, you can partition it, you can install an OS on it, just as if it were physically plugged right into the machine. It's wild.
Okay, so we know what it is, but what can you actually do with this thing? Let's dive into some seriously powerful, real-world examples of how you can put this to work.
First up, let's solve that mass deployment problem we talked about. This is called a diskless boot. You can have hundreds of PCs, each without their own hard drive even, start up from one single master OS image that lives on your server. Think about that for a second. You need to apply a security patch? You update that one image, and boom, all 100 machines are updated the next time they reboot. It's a massive time saver.
And second, back to our developers. You can spin up your Windows server to pretend it's a full-blown SAN. It provides that critical block-level storage your app needs for all its testing and validation. Your team gets to work out all the bugs before the app ever sees the real expensive production hardware. This alone can save you a ridiculous amount of money.
And third, it's just awesome for consolidated storage. For like a small branch office that doesn't have a huge IT budget, you can use an iSCSI Target to serve up centralized, reliable storage for a whole mix of servers, whether they're running Windows, Linux, whatever. It is an incredibly cost-effective way to get shared storage.
Now, these use cases are amazing, but you might be wondering, how is it so good at this? How is it so efficient and reliable? Well, that all comes down to the secret sauce. A few key features that are built right in.
So let's look at what makes this thing tick. First, you've got Multipath I/O, or MPIO. This is huge for reliability. It lets you create redundant network paths to the storage, so if a switch dies or a cable gets unplugged, no problem, your systems stay online. Then there's heterogeneous support, which just means it plays nice with others. Linux, VMware, you name it. But honestly, the true star of the show, the most mind-blowing feature, is something called differencing disks.
And believe me, this is where the iSCSI Target goes from being just a cool feature to an absolute, undisputed game changer. The way it handles storage space is just brilliant.
How much of a game changer are we talking about? Well, how about this much? When you're doing those big OS deployments, you can save up to 90% of the disk space you'd normally need. Let that sink in for a second. 90%. That sounds crazy, right?
And here's how it pulls off that magic trick. You have one golden base OS image. That's our little 10% slice right there. Then, for every single one of those 100 computers that boots up, the server just creates a tiny little file, a differencing disk, that only stores the unique changes for that one machine. So you're not storing 100 full copies of the OS. Nope, you're storing one copy plus 100 tiny text files of changes. It is just an incredibly clever and efficient design.
All right, I bet you're sold. You want to try this thing out. And you're probably thinking, okay, something this powerful has got to be a nightmare to set up. But the best part? It's actually really, really straightforward.
I mean, really, it all boils down to just 4 steps. You find some storage space on your server you want to use, then you pop open Server Manager and install the role. It's literally just checking a box. From there, a wizard walks you through creating a virtual disk, and the last step is just telling it which computers are allowed to see it. And that's it, you're off to the races.
So here's the bottom line. Whether you need to test a huge enterprise app, deploy an army of desktops, or just provide storage for a small office, there is a powerful, super flexible, and, let's not forget, completely free solution waiting for you. It's all about doing more and saving money with the gear you already own.
This really is a hidden superpower, just sitting there, ready to transform what a standard server can do. So I guess the only real question left is, now that you know about it, what problem are you going to go solve with it first?